What up, YouTube? This is Shay TV, and today is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving! But what I'm gonna be talking about today is really nothing to do with that. I actually saw a video of a high school friend of mine talking about her paranormal experiences and stuff like that, and it kind of inspired me to make a video. I know it's not Halloween, I know it's Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but it's actually gonna lead up to one of the biggest reasons why I'm thankful this year. Okay, so it pretty much all starts out with my brother. Now, my older brother, he was his name is Damien. He was 18 when he passed. I was like 5 years old. Mind you, he was like, I would say he was like a second father figure. Like, he was the one raising me while, you know, whatever was going on back then. Like, you know, he would always stand up for me, defend me, whatever, you know, things like that. Anyways, one day when I was 5, he went off to work. We went up to school, and I get out of school. I come back home walking with my other older brother Keith, and we see just a crowd of people in front of my building. So everyone's just crowded there, and they're all looking down, and there's somebody there on the floor. So we kind of push through the crowd or whatever, get to see who it is, and we pretty much don't recognize who is there. He's just on the floor, and we find out that he fell off of the building. That very same day, we find out that it was my brother Damien that fell off the roof of my building. So, as you can imagine, I was pretty shook up from that. The whole family was shook up from that. Even still to this day, we have pain in our heart because of that. But anyways, sorry for the sad and sappy stuff. We're gonna get to like the crazy, interesting shit, like pretty much like now. So fast forward, I would say maybe a couple years down. I don't even know how old I was. I probably was 8, 10, who even knows. I used to be afraid to like take a shower, take a bath. I take baths back when I was a kid. I was afraid to take a bath with the door closed. I always had to have that door open. One day I'm taking a bath and I feel like someone's standing there. So I look over, and lo and behold, I see my brother Damien standing there. Now you would think, all right, you're seeing a ghost, like you're gonna panic, you're gonna get scared, you're gonna run. What are you gonna do? I didn't feel any of that. I didn't feel like running. I didn't feel any of that. As a matter of fact, I was talking to him, and telepathically at that. Like, it wasn't like just me talking, like physically talking. Like, he was looking at me, and I can hear his thoughts in my head, and all I had to do was think what I wanted to say to him, and it was being said to him. So now that's the first instance of me making contact with my brother. I mean, we've had a lot of different times over the years where we felt like he was there. We felt his presence. My mom can tell you stories. My aunt can tell you stories. There's just been a lot of stories. He's basically been around since that one time. So recently I started like meditating and getting into like the whole new age spirituality and really finding myself on that spiritual journey. One of the things they teach through meditation is that there's another realm. That realm is the spirit realm. That realm is a very thin line between your dream realm and, you know, the actual spirit realm. So I'd heard about like astral projection and things like that, like people just coming out of their bodies and during their sleep, and I've never done that. I was even scared of the fact to do that because they say that the second you leave your body, bad things can come in, you know, depending on what your energy is. So basically, you know, I started getting deeper and deeper into it, more meditation, more like studies on it, and getting crystals and things like that. And even before like my whole spiritual journey and everything like that, I used to get a lot of sleep paralysis. I would you know, fall asleep, wind up getting like trapped in a dream almost, and then once me realizing it was a dream, I would like pretty much wake up, but not really. My eyes would be closed, My body is still, I can't move it, but I can still see. I can hear what's going on. I can see things. But I wouldn't only see what was there. I would see things on the other side. Shadow people. Like, if you know anything about astral projection, you probably heard of shadow people. They're basically just entities that live on the other side. You wind up seeing them sometimes when you astral project. Yeah, so I mean, this was just all sleep paralysis. The way I would get out of it, I'd have to like startle my body up. Like, I'd just lay still and all of a sudden just shake out of it. I know it looks funny, but like, that's literally how I had to get out of it. And it was the scariest thing. When I tell you, that was the scariest thing, to wake up in sleep paralysis. Think that someone's there, that they can wake you up, you're calling out for them, and then you just start seeing shadows walking back and forth, like feeling helpless. And then finally getting out of it, and you open your eyes and realize you're looking at the very same thing that you were looking at while you were under that sleep paralysis. So it's not a dream. Anyways, back to the whole meditation thing. I started finding out that the one of the easier ways to astral project would be when you actually sleep. When you're in sleep paralysis, there's a way to vibrate faster and your spirit will come out of your body. So I did that one day. One day I just woke up, sleep paralysis. This was actually in this very room. Yeah, I fell asleep, woke up, and here's this guy. My cat, Silver. Say hi. Anyways, so I wake up one day, and not really, and I'm just under sleep paralysis and, you know, feeling helpless like always, like anytime that happens. And I just focused on vibrating. Focused on like, almost like thinking about my molecules and just having them vibrate faster and faster and faster and faster, and slowly pulling up and pulling up and pulling up until I realized I got up. There's a mirror. Actually, that mirror right there. That mirror, yeah, during my sleep paralysis, or well, during my astral projection, I looked over towards that mirror and I was able to see my spirit, which was very floaty, kind of like, and I saw my body, and I saw my girlfriend's body who was sleeping next to me, and our hair was like, well, her hair was floating up in the air, like, just like craziest thing ever. I got up, but like I was kind of too scared to go anywhere, so I immediately just like, I just willed myself to get up, and that's exactly what happened. I got up. Then there was another time that happened. One day I decided to take a nap. I was just like extremely tired, and I went to the room, turned off all the lights, and took a nap. It was like probably like around this time now, like 6 o'clock at night. So I get into my sleep or whatever, and then boom, I'm under sleep paralysis again. So now I know what to do. Now I know, like, all right, well, you know, I'm good. So boom, I get out of my body. So I'm out of my body finally, and like I'm actually walking around. Well, not even walking. In that realm, it's more like, I mean, it's very dreamlike and everything like that, but it's more like anything you focus on becomes amplified. So if you look at something, or you look somewhere, you will wind up being right next to that thing, just by pure will, going straight that way. So basically, I just, you don't even walk, it's just like floating, honestly. I basically floated over to my door, and I see a being just standing there. This guy was like 4 foot tall, had a huge head, and he just standing there, and he has a suit on, he has a hat on, he's just looking at me. As far as I got my meditation and learning how to feel energies out, it didn't really seem malicious or anything like that, so I pretty much just disregarded it. I just walked past it, and I looked at the door trying to like go through the door, which actually I was unsuccessful with just floating through the door. So I put my hand on the doorknob, and immediately I was on the other side. I didn't even have to open the door or anything. I was just on the other side. I see my cats. You know, the one I just showed you, actually. I just seen him just walking around, and then they look at me in that form. So they're looking at me, running towards me, and I'm focusing on them. So I wind up pretty much up in their face, like all the way up in their face. And the cat just meows, and after that I just decided, all right, I'm gonna get up. So I get up, boom. Then I went and I go tell my girlfriend what happened, and she tells me, so that's why the cats were bugging out. Because she heard the cats running towards the room, which was where I was at in my astral body. And they just started meowing and chasing things that weren't there or whatever. And I almost cried like, yo, that was me. And I don't mean like cry, like sobbing or anything like that. Like anytime anything happens with me paranormal, or I talk about ghosts or anything like that, other than right now, if I get deep into it, I'll start tearing up. And it's like involuntary. I don't do it because I get sad or anything like that. It's just, I automatically just start tearing up. So with that in mind, fast forward like to pretty much very recently, I would say probably during the summer. I don't know if you watched the first vlog that I had, but I was talking about how I had a fight for my apartment. Yeah, I was losing my apartment because I'm still in the battle right now. But yeah, I've been fighting for my apartment or whatever, and my mom is a Catholic, so she prayed to different saints, and she believes in spirit guides and stuff like that, and she believes that Damon is actually guarding me. So she called upon him and sent out a prayer to me, texted over to me, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm not really Christian or anything. I'm more into this. Yeah, I'm not a religious person. I'm more into the spirituality of things. But yeah, so she sent it to me, and I took it for positive vibes. So one day I decided to do a meditation for my crown chakra, which crown chakra is your connection to the divine. And this was a sleep meditation. You just play binaural beats off of YouTube, and then you meditate a little bit, go to sleep, and then you get up. So I did that. It was a very, very powerful meditation. I had an amethyst stone, and my amethyst stone was vibrating like crazy. Mind you, I've been because of this recently, I've been able to develop clairsentience, which clairsentience just means the ability to feel like energy, the ability to feel things that other people wouldn't be able to feel. It's the same thing like clairvoyance, but clairvoyance is the ability to see. I also been able to develop clairaudience. Clairaudience is the ability to hear. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but usually around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, around my house, I will hear whispering. I live in an apartment like sheetrock walls, so you can easily blame it on the next door neighbors, but sometimes it doesn't sound like that. And it's just whispering, it's like shit like that, and that will fuck you up. But me becoming like spiritual, I believe that I'm a spiritual warrior, that I can handle things like that. I don't want to see anything or anything like that, but if something happens, I don't freak out. So basically that happened. I get out of the shower, I start hearing these whispering and stuff like that, and I go and I lay down or whatever. My girlfriend's there, she's laid down on her phone, and I'm just like listening to these voices like whispering, and I'm telling her, yo, I hear something. She's like, shut up, I don't want to hear that. So I'm like, alright, so I try to ignore it. Finally I just feel like a tingling all over my crown, the top of my head. And then I start hearing the thoughts. I hear, hey bro, I'm proud of you for keeping up the house as long as you did. Mom called on me for a reason, so I'm gonna help you with this case. Immediately I knew it was my brother. I felt the presence of him there. And I just start tearing, and then I start thinking back to that first experience when I was very little in the tub, and I'm just like, I haven't spoken to you in so long. How are you even able to do this right now? And he says, look over at your books. So now, if you look right over there, I had it right on top of that drawer. I had a stack of books that I was reading. The first book was Frequency. So basically, the answer to that question, how are you able to speak to me right now? Frequency. So I'm like, wow. Then I asked, what was the next question? Oh no, I didn't even ask anything. I say, I'm just not ready for this right now. I tell him, I'm not ready for this right now. He said, look at your books again. The next book down, the title of it was Set Your Voice Free. Then I'm like, no. I'm not ready right now. Like, I thank you for coming, but I'm not ready right now. Then it just ends. It stops. And I turned over, like my face drenched in tears and everything. I turn over and I tell her, I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, yo, this just happened to me. So basically, she just looked at me like I was crazy. I mean, she believed me. It's just, she just did not want to have anything to do with that. If you know anything about Hispanics, we do not fuck with spirits. But being the fact that I'm spiritual, I'm kind of getting close to that. So anyways, those are like pretty much like some of my craziest paranormal experiences. I've had even way worse, but this is just one I wanted to talk about today. And going back to the theme of Thanksgiving, I actually recently, this is gonna be very, very, very short. I was meditating a couple days ago. I had some sage. I lit that up. During my meditation, I wind up seeing my brother's face. And again, he talks to me, and then I just start feeling goosebumps everywhere. And I realized that when I was little, anytime I would feel like lonely or like feel like secluded from something, I would always have to reassure myself like, no, you're good on your own. And anytime I thought like that, I would feel goosebumps. Basically, my meditation revealed that anytime that happened, it was my brother there, telling me like, even though I felt alone or whatever like that, you're fine. Like, you're not really alone. So, with that being said, this Thanksgiving, what I'm mostly grateful for is the fact that I've been able to develop these gifts, and the fact that my brother has always been there. And even now that I'm getting goosebumps right now, he could be here right now. You know what I'm saying? And just knowing that is like, no one really has that connection to people that I've passed, and that is what I'm thankful for. Anyways, if you like this video, subscribe, man. Check out the album. Check out some of the other vlogs, SoundCloud, Instagram. You're gonna love the shit that I put out. Yeah, if you had any like experiences or anything like that, you can comment down or whatever. Leave a comment. Let me know what happened. If you want to like put a reaction to what I said, let me know. Yeah, just subscribe and stay golden.